Oh my goodness. So we competed in Hyderabad. It's a state in Telangana, India.
Okay.
And it was incredible. I mean, it's always lovely to be immersed into a different culture.
Yeah.
But I mean, the camaraderie between the people, the warmness of them, like their hospitality was unmatched. And also, I was really inspired by their economy. They're an emerging global leader in emerging technologies and informatics. And that was so inspirational to witness.
Awesome. And you did very well.
Thank
Top
you.
8.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you
And
so much.
also Miss Top Model.
Yes.
Wow.
Miss Top Model Africa.
Oh,
Glory
Miss-
be to God. I wasn't expecting it, but it was such a pleasant surprise.
Awesome. But you replaced Albertina Heimbala, sorry.
Yes.
How did that happen?
Okay, so the Miss Namibia organization dropped the Miss World license.
Okay.
And so the International Miss World organization was basically looking to see which organization they could give the new license for in terms of the Namibian context. So they reached out to Miss NGO Namibia, and that's the organization that currently holds the Miss World license.
Okay.
Yes, and
Very
so
interesting.
they nominated me and I was able to represent Namibia.
Brilliant. And you did so well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
But there's more to you than a pretty face. I understand you're an economics graduate.
Yes, sir.
And you also founded InnoNation Foundation.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
The InnoNation Foundation was founded in 2018 when I won Miss Namibia. So I'm also Miss Namibia 2018. And it's just that, I wanted something to live beyond me. I wanted something to work on beyond the crown, because you have your 1 year, tenure, and then that's it. But I didn't want my charity work to stop.
Yeah.
And so I founded InnoNation. It operates under the pillars of mental health, women economic enablement, youth empowerment through arts advocacy and technological development,
Okay.
and most recently agriculture. And we just launched a new program under our flagship of InnoNation. It's called the Global Namibia Tourism One project, where we'll be bringing international delegates to come on a 2-week cultural immersion tour of Namibia.
Wow. The delegates you mentioned before
Yes.
we started,
Yes.
they are some of your competitors?
Yes, absolutely. So there'll be a few of the competitors at Miss World this year. So I'm incredibly excited, and I've reached out to multiple of them, and they are ecstatic to be able to come to Namibia and witness all of its greatness.
Yeah. And I'm sure we're all eager to welcome them here.
Absolutely. I've received very positive remarks from the Namibian nation so far, and so I'm excited to see it through.
Cool. Let's expand a bit about InnoNation and another one of your initiatives, InnoGrows.
Yes, sir.
Hydroponics.
Yes.
Well, that's something new, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, tell us about it.
So this was birthed right after COVID-19. At that time, I was doing soup kitchens with different orphanages and community centers. And we all know during COVID, a lot of budgets got slashed.
Yes.
And unfortunately, a lot of the CSR funding that corporates allocated to different community centers got slashed at that time. And so we were doing soup kitchens, but I was like, you feed a child for 2 hours and then they go back to a home with no food. And I was like, we need a more sustainable solution to this. And I've consulted with many people, my mother being one of them, and we came up with the idea to install backyard gardens in orphanages and community centers specifically.
Okay.
So that's how it was birthed.
So you do backyard hydroponics?
Backyard hydroponic gardens, yes. Eventually, I want to install an aquaponics garden. It's a bit more intensive in terms of the tech and the security measures, but it's definitely one of the aspirational things that I want to do in future as well.
And the hydroponic gardens, are people getting comfortable with it? I mean, it's fairly new here in Namibia.
It is fairly new, but I must say that it's so intriguing to people, especially the children at the community centers. They are excited to learn about the technology behind it, and then also they're excited to see their seedlings sprout
Yes.
into a big shrub of lettuce or a big shrub of cabbage within this kind of like pole, right, that facilitates it. So I would say that it is fairly new, but people are excited to embrace it. And so one thing that we know at InnoNation is we definitely need to impart the agricultural education in addition to the system, and that's what we're currently busy with doing. I'm writing my first agricultural children's book, as well as a manual for the caretakers of the facility.
Wow, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go back a bit to beauty pageants. I mean, you've
Yes.
got a lot of experience now,
Yes.
and you've had success. But do you think that beauty pageants, do they serve the purpose? And would you encourage other young people, young women in particular, to enter?
You know, Gita, I'm going to be honest with you. Before I did Miss Namibia, I didn't think beauty pageants served a purpose. I was like, what's the point? But, during the process, I realized how much of a social catalyst beauty pageants can be. And, you get the term of being a role model and
Yeah.
someone that people look up to. And I would say that for the youth of Namibia, they do need something to aspire to. And they do need people to look up to inspire them to do better than their current circumstances. And so I do see the relevance of it in this day and age. Specifically for me, I view this as a platform to drive the social projects that are close to my heart. And I have the ability to do so because I wear a title. I mean, you don't need a title to make a difference, but it does amplify your voice.
Yes.
And I intend to use this voice for good, again, to advance the causes that are close to my heart and that I think are really, really deserving.
Yes.
So I would say that, I do think that beauty pageants, if administered correctly and responsibly, do play a role in today's society.
But you've also had some not so nice experiences in the past.
Absolutely.
How did you deal with that, and how did you bounce back?
I think you take the good with the bad. Every title, every position, it has its fair share of not so nice experiences. But, I do realize that it's important to stay focused on the goal. And my goal is really social work. And that's why I even agreed to be nominated as Miss World Namibia 2025. There are social projects that I really want to get off the ground and things that I want to implement for a purpose that is larger than me. So I think that if you stay focused on your why, the things in your periphery won't matter as much. But I'm not saying that it doesn't get to me. It is a thing that you have to go back to the drawing board about sometimes and just focus on what's important. I'm so incredibly blessed with a family that has become my support system and that reminds me of why I do what I do. And that makes me feel like I can accomplish anything.
I'd like you to share some of your experience and some of your advice because, with pageants, but with many other things, you get exposed to the world. And now we are in the age of social media.
Yes.
And there can be people who can say things and
Yes.
things can happen on social media which
Yes.
can be hurtful.
Yes.
How do you deal with that, and what advice would you give to others who are exposed to that kind of thing?
So during my tenure as Miss Namibia 2018, my national project was actually mental health. And having championed that for that year, I learned more about it, right? I learned about, the causes of it, what it could potentially do. I also learned about coping mechanisms. And I think that, having it almost like as a subject for the year really helped me manage my mental health better. But I also think that, it's important to stay grounded in something that is greater than you. For me, that's my faith. I know that I would not be able to be in this position without God. And I know that my relationship with God, especially this time around, grounds me. So I feel like, everybody needs to find that thing for them that grounds them in who they truly are in their identity. Because there's a saying that says, if you come to the world and you don't know who you are, the world will tell you. So for the youth of Namibia, I always encourage them, find out who you are, your identity, find out what that spark is on the inside of you, grow it, nurture it, cultivate it, and don't be afraid to share it with the world. Be unapologetic about your expression of it, because I feel like, you kind of do yourself a disservice when you don't show up as your full self due to fear of what people are going to say or of the comments. And I myself had to overcome a few of these things. But I think that, identity is really the thing that grounds me in knowing that, I'm here for a mission and I'm here to serve a purpose, and nothing else matters apart from that.
Awesome. You mentioned Miss Namibia a couple of times now, and Miss Namibia has gone through quite a metamorphosis in recent years.
Yes.
Do you think it's a good change, and what do you think that the future holds in terms of Miss Namibia, the way from your perspective?
Yes, I think it's been an incredible change. I mean, our current Miss Namibia, shout out to Joanna Swartboy. She's incredible. And I think that, having witnessed now the changes that have been implemented, I mean, she's receiving a car. To my understanding, she's getting to keep the car. She's receiving a house. Oh my goodness. When I read that, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is happening. We're on such a beautiful trajectory. And shout out to NBC, Namibia, shout out to Miss Umbi. She's been doing a stunning job with the girls. I mean, Jamila placed at Miss Universe top 20. I believe it was 2 years ago. I think that, it's evident, everybody everybody can see the wonderful change that has been happening. And ultimately, it's just elevating Namibia.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's one of those moments where I pinch myself and I'm like, what a time to be alive for pageantry.
Awesome.
This time around. So yeah, I'm super excited to see what else the future holds in terms of Namibian pageantry, but it's definitely on an up trajectory.
Okay, and would you be willing to work with Miss Namibia again on future projects?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've spoken to Johanna recently. She was actually at my fundraising gala dinner on Saturday on the 23rd
awesome.
of August. She came to support me, and we had a few conversations about, our different initiatives. And we were like, whenever you need a helping hand, or whenever you need like a speak or whatever it is, call me.
Yeah.
And it was such a beautiful moment. I believe that, it's setting a great precedent for sisterhood in pageantry.
Yes, and helping each other.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think it's important to uplift each other.
100%.
Let's switch directions again and go back to modeling. Do you still model?
I never really called myself a model.
Okay.
I do it, so to say, selectively. So I like to say that whenever the opportunity presents itself, I will take it. Whenever the door opens, I will walk through it. But, I believe that, as a pageant girl, modeling kind of comes with the territory.
Yes.
So I wouldn't classify myself as that. I think that it's one of the things that I do on the periphery because of, the title.
Okay.
Yes.
I think let's take a quick commercial break and then we'll come back in a few moments.
Great.
Thank you very much. Please stay with us.
Missed the latest episode of Tourismus? Don't worry, Echo has you covered. Catch every travel adventure, insider industry news, and exciting destinations from Tourismus anytime, anywhere. Visit www.oneup2.com and click on Echo to relive the journeys, rewind the adventures, replay the stories. Tourismus, where adventure meets prime time.
I always say, when you're on a stage at a pageant, you're not really representing yourself, you're representing a country.
Yes.
And even when they refer to you internationally, they don't call you by your name, they call you by your country. So they say, Namibia, come here.
Okay.
So I was very cognizant of the fact that it wasn't just me stepping out on stage, it was 3 million Namibian people. And what I focused on was to represent Namibia as authentically as I possibly could. I said humorously, I wanted to bring Namibian flair to the international stage. And so that's what I tried to do. I tried to showcase Namibia for all its beauty, for all its brilliance, and for its potential on the international stage. Yeah.
And just for interest's sake, what's the reception of people out there? What's their impression of Namibia in general?
I think that, it is you're from Africa. The wildlife, it's the Etosha experience, basically. But I think that, pageant girls play a big role in shaping that because you have a unique opportunity to educate when it comes to that and also share what your country's like, what it's about. So, I continuously shared about our beautiful landscapes, obviously about our wildlife, but I also think that, I touched on our people, the warmth of the people, the hospitality that the Namibians carry on the inside of them. And I urge them all to come visit.
Did you make any friends? Are there
Absolutely.
any countries, girls that you remember?
Yes, absolutely. So I was roommates with Miss South Africa. She's still so dear to me. I mean, I made friends with Miss Zambia, Miss Somalia, Miss Angola was really nice. I like to feel like I have 100 global sisters now because we all have each other's contact details and stuff like that. So it's very cool.
Are you on a WhatsApp group?
Absolutely.
Awesome. But of course, this wasn't the first time you are former Miss Namibia.
Yes.
2018.
2018, yes.
Yeah. And I imagine your life has changed a lot since then.
Absolutely.
Can you share with us how has your life changed since that first victory?
So funny story, I never really planned on entering a pageant. I give the credit to my mom. She asked me about 3 to 4 years consecutively. And I said, Mom, it's not my thing. I was a tomboy. I did the jeans and sneakers type of thing. That was my most comfortable state of being. And 1 year I gave in and I was like, okay, you know what? Okay, Mom. But I told her, when I don't get in, let's put the subject to rest. And to my surprise, I won. And prior to that, I really planned on living a very different life. I wanted to become an academic, live a very secluded life. I didn't have social media platforms prior to entering pageantry. I only had WhatsApp. So I created social media accounts for the purposes of pageantry.
Yes.
So apart from that, my personality, I like to characterize it by being an ambivert, kind of like an introverted extrovert, but having characteristics of both. And so after competing in Miss Namibia, I think that it birthed my true purpose, which is being a public servant. And this is a testament to me starting my foundation, the InnoNation Foundation. I think, when you have your year of reign, you have the unique experience of going to the different communities, going to different centers. You see the need firsthand, and that changed me.
Yes.
Prior to that, I used to think that giving away my old clothes or money here and there was enough. It's nowhere near enough.
Yeah.
I think that it kind of like reinforced my purpose in the sense that you have a responsibility to advocate for those whose voices aren't heard, and to advocate for those who are marginalized. And I think that it set me on this path, which I'm so incredibly grateful for. And it opened up so many other opportunities for me. Now I have the opportunity to model, to travel. Now I have the opportunity to visit, almost any country in the world, because I have 100 global sisters around the world. So I would like to say, pageantry can really open doors for you. And I'd like to say that, it is definitely a journey that I'm not regretting having taken.
Awesome.
So shout out to Mom for seeing potential where I didn't see it in myself.
Thank you.
Moro Namibia, catch chill sessions every Saturday at 1900 hours on NTV, hosted by Michael Kayunde, for trending Namibian music videos and top entertainment news. Or alternatively, watch anytime on Echo via 1up2, your hub for all episodes.
Missed the madness? Catch every sharp jab, unfiltered truth, and political punchline from Second Take, the show that says what others won't. From presidential bloopers to policy absurdities, we satirize the powerful and poke the pompous. If you didn't catch the fire live, don't sweat it. Every single story is waiting for you on Echo. Find us at 102.com and Echo, in your time, on your terms.
Thank you very much once again. So the world would wish to know that Zambia is presently at this state because of what happened between when the current president was when the current president was in opposition, never really got along with the late president, Mr. Edgar Lungu. So there was a conflict between the two, because they could not get along as political players when President Edgar Lungu was in office. Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, for instance, claimed most of the times that the elections that he participated in, which were won by the Patriotic Front, were actually by him, but because of the poor electoral system, he was denied an opportunity to become the Zambian president. So what happened is that when he became the president in 2021, the relationships between the late President Lungu and Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, our current president, did not smoothen. They became distant personality individuals. They couldn't relate quite well. So because of these disagreements between them, this is where we are today. Because Mr. Edgar Lungu was denied freedom of movement in some cases, because after he left office, he wanted to become a private citizen. He had retired from active politics. So he decided to be conducting morning jogging from his residence to just in where he used to stay, to just keep fit. But because the administration now denied him such privileges, that escalated their differences between the two individuals.
All right.
This is one of the reasons why are here.
All right, Mike. Let's just dig back a little bit because also is Edgar Lungu arrested, had Hakainde Hichilema arrested several times during his tenure, and there was an expectation that Hakainde Hichilema would return that quote-unquote aggression. And from my understanding, according to Zambian law, which is what you are speaking on, if you decide to re-enter politics, you are the one who lets go of presidential privileges. It is a choice that Edgar Lungu would have made, assuming his lawyer Makebi Zulu would have certainly informed him, understanding that once you step back into private life and you want to get back into politics, you're going to lose the benefits. And I think that's been a part of this conversation in a sense where it seems like, Hakainde Hichilema came up with this, where this is a standing Zambian law. So this has been the texture of their relationship. These gentlemen do not like each other, did not like each other right up until the last day. Now, was it so bad that Edgar Lungu, as the family states, would have said, I don't see any document, I don't think any document has been presented, perhaps with the signature of Edgar Lungu, but would have said that he doesn't want Hakainde Hichilema specifically at his funeral? And where does that stand when it comes to the fact that a president is quote-unquote state property?
Yes, when he joined politics, he lost his privileges as a former president of Zambia. He understood that fact, President Edgar Lungu. He did understand it, and his lawyers understand it. The problem, as I reason, because there was a time President Edgar Lungu wanted to go out of the country to go and seek his routine medical reviews. So the current administration did not allow him to go out of the country. Then what happened is that the doctors who are supposed to work on him were thrown into Zambia, and when they came into Zambia, they assessed him and they informed him and his family that the stage where you have reached, you need to come to our facility as quickly as possible. So President Lungu made an attempt to go out of the country. He even got on a plane going out to South Africa. But when news reached the top authorities in Zambia, he was taken out of the plane. So this is one of the arguments they're saying. Maybe if President Lungu was asked to go during that time when he was taken off the plane, the situation could have improved, and probably maybe he may not have succumbed because now it was like that. So he understood that fact, President Lungu himself. But the challenge is, like you said, when he went out of the country, he was out for about 5 months. There was no correspondence between him and the current administration. There was nothing. There was a point of order in the National Assembly. A member of parliament wanted to find out where, if the government knew what happening to President Lungu was out of the country. So when the government attempted to get in touch with President Lungu, they didn't manage. So they came back to parliament and informed the parliament that from what we know, President Lungu is alive, but we don't know what he is suffering from. So you could see clearly, yes, President Lungu, he was a state property, but when he left the country as a private citizen without any state security, the Zambian government did not have a clue of what was happening to him. This is the basis that the family is using, because there was no one government to ask to say, yes, President Lungu indicated that he did not want Mr. Hakainde Hichilema to be anywhere near him, assumed he had died. This is where the problem is. Then emotions have come in. Emotions have come in because the Lungu family has insisted that we want to respect the wishes of our brother, the wishes of our father, the wishes of our uncle, and the wishes of my brother, that Mr. Hakainde Hichilema should be nowhere near the body of our departed president. That is where the challenge has been. Because the Lungu family, through their spokesperson, Mr. Makebi Zuru, at the first discussions between them and the Zambian government, they did agree that the remains of Mr. Lungu should come to Zambia. The only issue why they did not bring the body to Zambia arose from the same issues we are talking about, where according to the program that was released, it indicated that Mr. Hakainde Hichilema was going to take center stage during that funeral. That is what made the first engagement between the Zambian government and the Lungu family to collapse.